Introducing LT Defense Tactical Gear, your ultimate solution for top-notch protection and performance in the field. Our armor bundles provide unmatched safety and comfort, while our battle belts and holsters ensure quick and easy access to your gear. Stay prepared for any situation with our high-quality medical supplies, designed to keep you ready for action at all times. Looking to enhance your skills? Our firearms training programs will take your proficiency to the next level. Trust LT Defense for all your tactical gear needs and gear up for success on the battlefield.
This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gab-fed show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Military, I'm a certified financial social worker. I was in the Air Force for 14 years, and then I paid off $20,000 of debt while I was active duty within 3 years as an E3. So that's kind of like I got really into personal finance, and so I've been really passionate about that ever since. And that was 10, 12 years ago now. So since then, I became a social worker, and now I'm a certified financial social worker. So we kind of get into, dealing with finances, but then also kind of dealing with the psychology behind finances, like the mental side of things. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, your battle buddy when it comes to finances, please welcome the fire social worker Joey Laswell.
All right, sorry about that. A little bit of a technical glitch. We also have my son is decided that he wants to interact right now. All right, so my name is Joey. This is Jack, and we'll have to deal with him for a second. This is Money in the Military. This is Military Broadcast Radio. Okay.
Hey, Dragon.
Okay. All right, so this is Jack's position. So sorry about that. He is now requesting Nikki. All right. Okay. So apologize for the adorable distraction, but so this is Military Broadcast Radio, giving veterans a voice, and today we're gonna have an old friend of mine, a pair of friends from Las Vegas. We have Rob and Becky Salazar, and basically we're roommates with Rob back in the day. We were at Creech together, which was middle of nowhere in the desert. We lived together. We had a great time, a lot of great memories from what I remember. And we're just I'm just glad to see them. This is kind of a blast from the past, but just excited. We're going to talk to them about their financial journey. From Rob separating, becoming a veteran, and basically they're just kind of trying to make it, So we're going to talk to them about their journey, and then we'll kind of take it from there. So this is Becky and Rob. Hello.
I like the intro. Thank you. I forget I'm a veteran sometimes.
No, I don't. I always remember
all those light bulbs I was changing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we did some, we were part of the drone program when it was kind of first starting out, and a lot of hush hush stuff. But I mean, we got to do some cool things. And then, see, you did 4 years, right? And then you got out after 4 years.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. I got reclassed into comm, but the problem was with like UAVs, like I didn't really have any skills afterwards. And when I was in, and by the way, go to school when you're in, gentlemen. Like after I got out, I was kind of just job to job really. And then I got lucky. I got a solid spot. We used the GI Bill to get the house, and then money was still kind of tight, so we got a roommate. And what we should have been saving with the roommate, we didn't. We just spent our money. So that's when our debt started to get onto us. So I don't know what happened after that. You said an outline.
I wrote it down because I knew I did. A little nervous. So at the time, we weren't paying all our credit card bill. Like we were just like accruing debt that way, and we really didn't talk about it. Like he and I did not talk about it at all. It was all on my shoulders, and it's getting a little more to where we talk about it more now.
It's kind of like the same way with you. Remember when I was roommates, I didn't know anything about the money. Or like, tell me how much to send. I'm like, all right, I'll throw money at this, and I never had to worry about any of it. It was like that in the military. It was like that when I was at home. My parents didn't teach me anything about finances really, and so you just give person who knows what they're doing the money, and then you're fine. And it took me. And I'm still like catching up with like all these terms of finance. I didn't have any credit when I was in the military. I paid everything with cash besides my car. Nobody told me that was a mistake. I got with Beck. I was like, how do I have no credit? I've like been the most financially responsible person on the earth, So
and buying our house and buying my car. I was like, I'll just do it myself.
Yeah. So my name's not on anything. I'm pretty sure.
No, it is now.
She could leave me high and dry.
Oh gosh, we got some work to do apparently.
That's what I'm saying. So what did the most that we get? Where was the highest that we ever got at? So that went on for a while like that. I quit my job without a backup plan, which is also, let me give you a red flag on that. Don't do that. Have a backup plan. I was so fed up. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I just quit.
Yeah,
so,
he told me, I think it was a Sunday, he was like, okay, I'm gonna quit my job soon. And I was like, fine, that's fine. I know you hate it. Go get another job first. He was like, yeah, sure. And then the next day he was like, I quit.
Nice.
And in my mind, I was like, it's not going to be hard to find another job. I'll just go get 6 months, dude. It took me, and I was working at UP. I was doing everything I could.
Oh, that's right. You were at UPS,
dude. If you work at UPS, respect, bro. Respect.
He worked during Christmas season too,
Oh,
so it was
gosh.
like,
Gosh, I can't.
But yeah, so like, and that's like barely any money. So we're credit card debt keeps going up. We still need groceries. We still need all this other stuff.
yeah. So we had to use the credit cards to really stay afloat then. And I'm a teacher, so like I make not
bank
enough, you know.
I make bank.
And so I was like consolidating our credit cards into like one, and then after a while it just got so high. Oh, we also, no, I don't remember. Did we go on the vacation before or after that?
Before when I was still working for the company.
We were able to save money for a vacation, and then we went on the vacation, and of course it was more than we expected. And so that added to it. And then I had to consolidate everything, and then we ended up getting a personal loan because the interest rate was much lower than the credit card. And then we were able to, after what, 2 years, 3 years of paying on it.
And it was struggle. I mean, man, we couldn't go anywhere. Our friends were going out, and we're like, sorry guys, you sure you don't want to stay at home? You know,
yeah,
like
we got some help from family.
Yes.
Like his mom gave us some, my parents gave us some.
Yeah. We would have sank without family if they hadn't helped us out.
Mom and dad some money.
That's always helpful.
Yes, and a lot of people don't have that, so it's tough.
Yeah, we were very fortunate in that. And then after we did the personal loan, we finally got caught up. I mean, as much as we can. Robby got his job at GM, and now we were just talking about this the other day. He gets profit sharing, so it's like a bonus every March, and it's like a life raft. Like we get this thing that's keeping us afloat, and then as the year goes on, it just like seeps out, you know. And then by November, December, Christmas time, we're like, oh, just make it to March. Make it to March. We can make it to March.
And there's no way to live, man. There's nowhere to live. We know there's a better way, probably.
Yeah, we just
Plus, we have an old house. We have stuff going out. We have to fix our pool. That's going to be 15 grand.
Yeah. We had to get a new roof.
The new roof.
New carpets. We haven't got those yet. Those are like lowest priority, I guess. But
pool is number one. It's going to mess with the foundation. So.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So
listen to you kids out there want to buy a home. Just know that it's not just the monthly mortgage cost at all. As
it's
anyone who's had a home for a few years knows that it's just one cool breeze away from falling over at any. Or it feels.
What's really helped. Like, what has helped us? We have used this company that comes out and replaces like our AC, because our AC has went out so many times.
Oh, we have a home warranty because we have the pool, and so with the filter, it's
definitely worth it. We've got our money out of it, even when they deny some of the stuff they do cover. I mean, it's thousands.
Yeah.
So we put a new AC
and that
unit
adds up.
and a couple different things.
Okay. Well, do you have a net worth? I guess we didn't really talk about homework before this, but like, do you have like your net worth ahead of time, or do you have you guys figured that part out on previous sessions?
Net worth, it's probably not that much. We probably count it all on one hand, I imagine. No, I haven't really thought about it.
Yeah, because we used to have that Mint budget app, and that was great because I could see everything. I mean, it still was going into the red, but I could see it, and I knew how much we had. I knew how much we owed. And now that that's gone, I'm kind of looking for something new, and I haven't found anything that I like yet. So
well, I will go ahead and plug for Mint. Not Mint. You just said Mint. Rocket Money.
Rocket Money.
I was a Mint user for many years too, and I was really sad that they shut their doors. But yeah, Rocket Money. You've probably seen commercials for them. I just recently started using them. And you can use what's called Plaid. It's like they basically link up to your accounts, your bank accounts.
Oh, right on.
So they don't actually get the data. They're like the middleman of the data. So basically, you can link up all of your bank accounts through Plaid, through Rocket, and then it'll pull all your information like almost in real time. And then
so
it's
it's
just like what
Mint
was. What Mint was, where it aggregates all your data into a single, like, easy to use space. So
that's awesome.
If you like Mint, then I'll go ahead and pitch for Mint Rocket Money, which they do have a free tier, but I think it's like $10 or $12 for the full suite of services. So I mean, like, I personally spend that money because I feel like it's worth it just to have all that data. But if you're cutting costs, then that might be one that you want. That's a luxury. But when it comes to managing our guys' finances, I think it's probably worth it in the long run.
All right, cool.
Just something to explore. Because so if you guys had to put one topic of your struggle, your main struggle, is it like spending, or is it we have a saver and a spender, or what do you guys would highlight as like your biggest struggle?
Man,
probably like we want to be able I think our philosophy is like we need to learn how to save, but we want to live life and enjoy life, but also have money for later in life. So how do we do that? Well,
the balancing it, because we were there with like ramen noodles and nothing before, and like, man, do I not want to be at that again? But if we never learn to save, we're just going to be there every year in November. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest part for me, the biggest part that I needed to pick up on was communication. I had no idea what our finances were. So if I was going out and maybe making a big purchase, I didn't know if we were broke or if we had the money to cover it.
Okay.
And so it was communication, and then not doing such fast food got us for a while, but just like those random spendings. I'm out. Why not? We can spend $20 here. Mm-hmm. But now, like, every time you go out to eat, we got the 2 kids. That's like $50-$60.
Yeah. That adds up really quick.
Yeah.
So it sounds like if you guys are able to use the Rocket Money and like maybe have like I've heard of people calling them money dates, or basically they meet up once a week maybe on a Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, and just kind of talk non-confrontationally about the money for the last week, which I don't imagine that's a problem. But for some people, it's something about being called out. Like, did you spend $80 on Magic Store? But yeah.
How'd you know? How'd you know about my magic addiction? Oh my God, we were gonna bring that up. Did she tell you?
Well, old habits die hard. I go back to the 2014 era. But okay, so it's a good start. We're going to take a quick little musical break, and then when we come back, we're going to kind of dig into some of the numbers, and then we can start coming up with some game plans based off of.
Yeah, let's write down some of our. So yeah, we'll start getting some of that together.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, right now we're going to listen to our usual guy, which is Noah Peterson, the USMC Marine Corps veteran out of San Antonio, actually. So he's my main guy to go to, and we'll be back with Becky and Rob right after this.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
And we're back. Here we go. This is Money in the Military, and this is Military Broadcast Radio. All right, that's my horrible DJ voice.
I like it. You're getting there. You're getting there.
So this is Money in the Military. I have some old friends, Becky and Rob Salazar, who basically we were in the trenches together in Las Vegas, Nevada.
A lot of golf courses.
A lot of golf courses.
A lot of bunkers.
A lot of bunkers. A lot of 7-irons that were damaged in the harming of our golf. We're going to talk to them about their finances. And there's Jack. So Jack. Hi, we're going to talk a little bit about their finances, some of their lessons learned along the way, and then maybe some things that we could do together to kind of help them. And then, we can do like a follow-up session or series of sessions, and then just kind of track your trajectory and make sure things are going okay. Sound good?
All right. Yeah, we got some numbers for you.
Yeah, let me give me a rundown of like the big picture stuff, and then we can kind of drill down after that.
All right.
Like what do you mean? Sorry.
Well, just like the basic debts, like maybe do you have like a total of all your debts, and then like maybe just your general income, and then we can compare and contrast.
Okay, so our last tax, we haven't done our taxes yet this year, but together we made what, about 120,000?
Yeah, something like that.
I think it was around 120,000 together, which is the most we've made yet, and we both had to buy new cars recently. Not recently, I guess in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And so we're both still paying on our cars. I have about 18,000 left on mine, which I realize is less than I thought. So that's good. We have the house. I don't remember how much we have left on the house. We have a while.
Yeah.
We bought it about
2013. Yeah,
something like that. So,
a couple years before we got married.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think there's some credit card stuff, but we're slowly paying that off.
No student loans. We paid those off first. Thank you.
Oh yeah, student loans are done.
Good idea.
Yes.
Good idea.
Yeah, I was tired of those. Plus, I was like, we're not making this back. Teaching back. We're gonna have to knock this bad boy out.
Right. Yeah. Well, there wasn't any personal service loan forgiveness programs that were available to you, or
not that we were aware of, but we were really so financially dumb. I think we were just Googling stuff to figure it out, you know?
Anything you could do.
Yeah, but you get so many weird things like, oh, I wonder if this, and you get so many grifters too. So you never know what to follow.
Mm-hmm.
I know. We're just kind of lost. Becky would hear something and not hear something on the radio. We're like, oh, let's try this. Let's try this.
The Dave Ramsey debt snowball thing for a while.
Yeah.
And that helped. I mean, I got the student loans done. I had the personal loan, and so that was our highest one, but we were paying on that monthly, but we finally got that personal loan paid off, and that felt great.
That was like a big personal victory.
Yeah.
Right there. That was such a struggle.
I can imagine.
Yeah. But now we don't, I mean, besides the cars and the house, like the credit card, we usually pay that off every month until about November. November, December is when it's like, Christmas, Thanksgiving, like all the things. And that's like right now it's higher than it normally is, but our next payment will take off a lot of it. So,
So how much would you say you guys spend on the credit card a month on average?
Normally, well, it's gone up so much. Like before it was 3,000 a month because we put everything on it and then to get the points and stuff. Which I don't know if that's even financially smart, I was
kind of at least a wash, if anything, like, it's not usually the greatest mathematical, like unless you're paying it off every month in full, then you're kind of losing money on the interest.
I mean, we usually do until November, December.
Yeah, but still,
that's not bad. It's like one of those things. Like if you're gonna spend the money anyways, then you might as well get points on them. That's my always been my philosophy. But if you have a problem with spending or credit cards, then you can easily rationalize purchases because you're getting points. And I've done.
I didn't think about that.
Well, I guess I just think of it more like not necessarily for the points, just like this is where our money comes from. Like this is the card I use now, instead of the debit card. And we were having a problem before with the debit card. We would overdraw.
Yeah.
And so the credit card just feels like a safety net almost, I guess.
It's almost like you're money laundering your own money.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. So you're just like, okay, I know I have the money, but I'm going to float it.
This card. That's crazy to think of it that way.
Yeah. I wouldn't worry about that too much. Like if you're getting the points and you're being responsible, then just go for it,
Okay. Well, it looks like I'm looking at our credit card statements. It's usually around the 8,000-ish thing per month, but that's mostly where our money is. Like there's a couple things on our Wells Fargo credit card, but that's like your Microsoft stuff and like things like that and Terminix. Just because I never switched them over. And then we don't use our debit card ever.
No, hardly ever.
Because we know that money is going towards the credit card later.
Right. Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, would you estimate you guys are at a surplus, neutral, or are you guys actually putting more money away than you're actually spending?
We really don't put too much money away because let's see, a month we make
What?
Hold on.
They could hear you. Even if you pretty sure.
Okay, a month we make 9,400 ish.
Yeah, it's about what.
Ish, and so we're spending right up to there sometimes. You know, it just depends on the month, really. Like Christmas was. You know.
Besides Christmas, sometimes we have like school stuff. Like Adrian is in hockey, so we got all the hockey stuff.
That was $1,000 at one time.
Ooh.
The other kids learning how to drive. So now, we have to budget in insurance. And any suggestions you have on a kid turning 16 with insurance, that's probably going to take our little net positive down, I imagine. So,
Yeah, that's going to be a tricky one. There's no way to navigate that one without paying an
maybe just drive without insurance. It's safer. It's safer for me.
Saver for your wallet now.
Yeah.
So gets into an accident, and then you're back to work.
Just run away. Just run away, kid. It's fine. Just run away from the accident. It'll be fine.
Oh,
No.
man.
So we're worried about that, but yeah,
lifestyle,
that's it.
Lifestyle increases, not necessarily like lavish lifestyle. It's just like everyday living expenses for you guys, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's something that you definitely are going to have to reevaluate every so often, like your food budget. I don't know how often you guys have tackled that. Like most people, that's like the last thing that they think about.
But we've cut back on the fast food. Like before, it was like we're out, we're busy. I don't want to cook. Let's get something to pick. You know, but that's few and far between now. Like we don't eat out like fast food. When we do, we're like, oh, it's a treat.
Yeah,
you know?
so it's like special what we do. It's kind of like when I was growing up a little bit.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it's not expected anymore.
Right. And you know, like nowadays you have the DoorDash and all that. Basically, you don't even have to leave the house anymore, and there's you know.
Right. We do have the grocery delivery, but we don't do DoorDash because that's too expensive.
We do the grocery
that adds up quick.
And that's probably unneeded expense, but I understand.
I've actually seen people talk about how like they're actually saving time.
Yes.
And it's hard to put a dollar amount on the time that you're saving and the mental frustration of going to the store. So I'm actually an advocate for like some of those subscription services, the delivery stuff like Walmart Plus. I actually do subscribe to them.
Well, you were right.
But also it helps me from overspending at the store too, because I'm like, this is what I'm getting. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Hit me up with some logic. I like it.
But yeah, so those are just little things. But you know, ultimately, I was just trying to get a vibe for where you guys feel like you're at, you know, as far as like your overall spending and then your income and outgoing and all that good stuff. But it sounds like
I would really like for us to sit. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it sounds like you guys have a pretty good like feel for where you're at. You just want a little bit more clarity.
I mean, I think whenever I had the Mint thing, I could look and see who spent what are we spending our money on, where's it going, and now we don't really have that. So I think that what'd you call it, money date or something? I think that would be really good.
Yeah, I like that idea.
To kind of see like, oh, you spent. Maybe we should like go.
That's something I think we're going to implement. That's an awesome idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we just kind of need a path forward to like savings. There just should be proper savers. I mean, you can't help the stuff you got to buy, but the stuff that you don't need or is maybe like what's your feeling on like subscription services, like having like Netflix and all this other stuff? Because I feel like you don't need them all.
Right.
Pick one that you like.
Things, that Ramit Sethi talks about spending lavishly on the things that you love, but then cutting everything else to the bone. So if you truly value your Netflix shows and like, you know, your subscription services, then spend on them, you know, and not feel guilty about it. But if it's something that you really don't get a lot of value of, but then you have like almost like a social pressure, sometimes, you know, like CrossFit maybe is something that, well, I don't know. It's hard to put a price tag on health, but I don't really necessarily say no to subscriptions, like I said. But if it brings value to your life and you can rationalize it, then go ahead. You know, we're only here on this earth for long enough. There's no point in like depriving so much, you know. And that's one thing I've learned on this journey is that we tend to kind of overdo it sometimes. Like I've been guilty of like basically the financial equivalent of going on an extreme diet. And then I realized that wasn't really sustainable. So I kind of went in the other end of the spectrum where I was like a spender like crazy, and that didn't really work out. So I found kind of a sweet spot, but everyone's journey is different, and it's also not a race. So that's where I think a lot of people get caught up in that keeping up with the Joneses, not in the sense of like, oh, I have to have their car that they have, but maybe they're going on vacations more frequently than we are. And that makes you feel a little, like it does make you feel a certain way. You're like, oh, they're in the Bermuda or wherever.
Yeah, my sister and their husband are both engineers. And so they make, just one of them makes what we make together,
right.
and more.
Mm-hmm.
And so like whenever they talk about vacations, I'm like, I can't go. And she's like, don't worry about it. We'll pay for your flights. And I'm like, I wish I could just be like, yeah, we're fine. We can go.
Yeah.
We have money saved.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, that's definitely, it's a real thing to want to go travel and do things like that. I mean, especially while you're young. There's another book that I recently finished. It's called Die with Zero. Sounds really morbid, but it's really just a kind of a different take on, instead of living till you're 80, 90 years old with this big nest egg that you can't even spend. You actually enjoy your life as you're young and as you're able to enjoy it more. Obviously there's going to be a balance there, but I think that kind of goes against some of the traditional thinking of like, okay, well, you work till you're 65 and then you put 10% away, and then by the time you're 65 you'll have enough to retire off of. But I think a lot of people are rethinking the traditional retirement kind of like.
Yeah, that was my argument to Becky. I was, like, when we're really saving, I was like, listen, man, I want to enjoy Europe when I'm 40. I don't want to enjoy it when I'm 70 and I can't make it up the steps. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we got to do something here.
Yeah. So I think that's where you guys are trying to change things around a little bit, maybe do something different, which I like. You're taking initiative, and you reach out to me and you're like, hey, maybe Joey could help us out with some things. And I'm like, oh, I was on board 100% immediately. Just to be able to see you guys' lovely faces again was enough for me to do this.
Cool thing is, I used to get all this advice for free when he lived with me. Anytime you had a problem, Joe was there. I was like, hold on, I got to go talk to Wilson over the fence here.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like I was really passionate about all that stuff and nerding out, and now I'm just trying to do it on a professional level. Yeah. So you said savings. That was one of the first things that came to my mind, was that you guys want to be savers.
Yeah. We just need we need you to give us like a strict structure that maybe we could try to follow, or maybe loosely follow, because we're really good at that. But if we try to do it on our own, we tend to make we tend to veer off a little bit. We never really stick to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's where
maybe you could give us like an outline, maybe.
Okay. Like a roadmap, almost like a GPS. Just you'll get there on your own terms, but then here's like a general map for how to get there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I mean, what really comes down to is, when it comes to saving, a lot of people have this perspective of, I'll never be a saver. There's a mindset there where people say, oh, I'm never going to be a saver because I'm such a spender. But I think most people are on a spectrum, and they're not necessarily like a full saver. And I don't know. You got your Scrooge McDuck types who genuinely will never spend any money. I'm definitely not in that category. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. But yeah, when it comes to saving, I would say one of the first things is you need to have, just like with a map, you need to have a destination in mind.
Yeah.
So with the savings, I think what's gonna help you guys is to have targeted savings. So for like this trip, for instance, when was the last trip you guys took, and like how much would you say you spent on that trip?
We're pretty conservative on our vacations now.
Yeah, we drove to Michigan because we didn't want to pay to fly.
How much did we spend? The last one was down at the beach. We didn't spend a lot. We paid
We paid for food.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Because
Our family's really generous with
my
us on
sister
these
and brother-in-law
vacations.
paid for the
Because otherwise we just wouldn't be going. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just not
they paid for
possible.
the
We got
boat.
2 kids now, both of them. We got 15 and 14.
Yeah, so they're both getting into the needs a lot of money time.
Yeah.
And then the other one, we drove to Michigan and then we went to the
So how much do you think we spend? Maybe like
I mean,
$5,000 and under is usually what we like. What we save is like $5,000, but we never really spend that. Maybe somewhere between 2 and 3.
Because we stayed in one hotel room overnight, and then the rest of it we stayed with family.
And then we'll buy some dinners to make up for not paying for rent or anything.
We just try to keep it as low as we can.
So I don't know, about $1,000 I think average. Bigger ones will probably be more than that.
Birthdays for the girls, we go kind of big.
Like, see, I have a problem with that a little bit.
And I want to spoil them. You only have one birthday a year.
Yeah, but you have one every year.
I think it's special.
They're going to be alive for 100 years. There's going to be a bunch of them.
Well, we got people living to their 80s, 90s, or
Tell her to start celebrating in the 90s. Come on.
My dad turned 70 this year, and he was like, "I've had enough."
I understand. She's taught me the birthdays are important, but I don't think spending that much money. I think $500 on a birthday seems all right. Including a gift. Get some
I
friends
don't
together.
spend $500 on a birthday. That's too much.
What about? Well, we're going to Dallas Stars this year.
Oh well, yeah, I guess we did.
How about that?
Never mind.
Well, like I said,
what's your take on that?
If you guys are, let's say, if you're planning out a mid-range trip, let's say you wanted to do $2,000 to $3,000 trip next, we'll say. I mean, that's the other thing that determines the timeline is how fast you want to get there. So, like, you have a gas tank, you put the pedal to the metal, you're gonna go fast, but you're not gonna go very far. And then the other side of that is obviously, you could drive like an old man, you'll get there and you'll have plenty to spare, but it'll take you forever to get there, So it's really just all about trying to find that where you guys want to go and how quickly you want to get there. So if you guys were to able to save up for, let's say, a $2,000 trip for the summer, how would you guys go about doing that? If this dream opportunity comes up and you're like, all right, we have to save $2,000 by August 1st. How would you guys do that?
Ooh, we do that.
Well, the way I did it before when I saved for the first vacation, that big one, I just had a set amount go from our savings to from our checking to our savings every month. And it was like a year of saving that way. And so that money was just like, that's future Becky money, like we can't use it, but that's the only thing I could think to do.
And then we just budget around
but that's
what
the
we
problem.
have.
How do we budget?
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that.
We still save, yet we still spend.
We still spend it.
Right.
But it's there somewhere else.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Well, that's where having separation from your money sometimes can be helpful. So you mentioned a savings account. Do you have just the one savings account, or do you have different accounts that you could maybe?
I have one savings account, and then in the same bank I have another one, which is like the first one is like our home savings one. The second one is like our trips and whatever. But I had to use some of the home savings one to pay the credit card bill in December. So I'm just telling you the truth.
Hey, I believe you.
I believe you. And so
you gotta do what you gotta
that
do.
one's not as high as the second one because I didn't want to touch the second one. I don't know.
Okay. Well, the only reason why I say that is that some people, like I said, have that they like that separation from their money. So like if it's in the checking account, it's almost like mentally like I can spend that. It's just a weird thing. But then if it's like just physically not there, still somewhere in your banking system, just not in your checking account. There's something about that that can be really helpful for a lot of people. Just because out of sight, out of mind, no temptation. You can't spend something that's not there. So really what I would encourage is to at least have one additional account that is something that you can't actually access very easily. So maybe like an online only bank, or like if one of you guys has like a work bank or something like that. Basically just another account that's out of sight but still accessible. So then you just set up like an automatic withdrawal, or you could do it through the payroll system sometimes. But basically what you guys did, which was to just put that money away automatically. That's literally what you would be doing, but you would do it in a targeted way that also is separate. You know, like that physical separation is also good because you don't have the temptation. Because if it's linked to your savings account and your checking account, it's really easy to just go in there and transfer like $50, $100, right? Generally.
Yeah,
Well, by
that's what
doing
I
this,
did. Exactly.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But this is a little bit easier, or it's actually difficult because it adds an extra layer to accessing your money. You still have it. You have to do a little bit extra work to get there. Some people would, do this where they would like freeze a credit card in water in their freezer, so that they're not. It adds an extra layer to it,
Yeah.
Another way of
Heard
doing
of
that.
that.
I've never heard of that.
No, yeah, people. There's something about having the credit in their wallet, like they're gonna spend it. But if they have it separated from themselves and they have to go through extra steps, like either thaw it or chip it away or whatever, hack at it. Yeah, it works for some people, but it's an extreme example.
What do you? So I've been hearing about high yield savings accounts. Do you know much about? I mean, what do you know about those?
Well, they're basically usually with an online account. An online bank doesn't have the physical banking infrastructure, so they don't have physical banks usually, and they can save money or give money to their patrons by having lower expenses. So basically, a lot of these online, like Ally, I think it's Ally, a few other online banks, they offer a higher, like a 4% interest rate. So if you're talking about, all that adds up over time, that, losing my train of thought. Here we go. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a high yield savings account, and every bank, a lot of banks have them. They just don't necessarily advertise for them as much. But nowadays, people are interested in them because, yeah, if you put $1,000 in, 4% is way better than usually less than 1% that a lot of traditional banks have. So
right, because it's like point something.
Yeah,
usually,
something crazy.
Yeah,
not
some
even
rip-offy.
Yeah. So yeah, I would look into that. Maybe another bank that I used to use or account that I used to use was called Smarty Pig. It's like an online piggy bank essentially, where you can create like specific targeted savings goals. So I really like this because I guess I'm a more visual person anyways, and I like the idea of having all of my savings goals, and then you can have it like broken down into, oh, you're 12% towards your goal, or you can look at it from a graph or from all the different data perspectives. So if you're visual, then Smarty Pig is really good because it's like a little piggy bank for your savings.
That's cool.
And it usually does offer a higher percentage than a traditional bank. So it's kind of a high yield savings account, but it's kind of gimmicky too. But I mean,
it's whatever works,
like
really.
it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
So if anyone from Smarty Pig is watching, I would take a check of $5,000 or gold bullion if that's available. But yeah, so we got the initial task or homework is to create like a separate account where you already have access to. But what I want you guys to do is to come up with a number, and it sounds like maybe that initial savings goal that you had for the last trip. And we're just doing an example. You don't have to do a trip. If you have something specific in mind that you're going to purchase.
Probably a trip.
Yeah, we're saving up for this next one.
Pool though.
Oh yes, that is number one priority. Is that pool?
Yeah.
Take care.
So probably the pool then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dang it! Vacation next year.
Well, then you said you haven't touched the tax return yet, right? Or haven't done
No, and we still haven't got. We get our bonus next week, and that was like 14.5. So that'll be a nice chunk of change.
Heck yeah! So you mentioned the bonus was a nice thing, but then you maybe come to rely on it a little bit every year.
Yes, that's exactly. And like we've been relying on it to take care of some stuff recently, but I mean, it always seems like, all right, we get up to the bonus. We need this done. Then by the time we're done divvying it up, like here's your 100, here's your 100, here's your 100. Penny to the kids. Bink, you know.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
But then again, like I said, you do have that is something that not everyone has access to. So I mean, you see that as you guys are fortunate.
Yes, very much so, man. I wish everybody got that at the end of the year, dude. That'd have made a big difference in my other jobs.
Yeah. Well, the idea that I was thinking about was Christmas spending.
Yes.
You know, you guys just dealt with Christmas spending. This is something that a lot of families struggle with. Like they get to the end of the year, they do their shopping pretty mindlessly usually, and then they have the bill at the end of the year or end of January, and a lot of times it's not exactly what they wanted. Oh. But yeah, he wanted to be in the box. All right. I'm doing dual duty today. But yeah, so I forgot my train of thought there. But what was I saying?
Christmas spending. People were yeah.
Yes. So Christmas spending is one of the things that a lot of people overspend without really thinking about. So what I would say is to do an audit of your Christmas spending, and this might be painful, but it's fresh. So I want you guys to take this, basically just get it.
I'll enjoy this, Joe. No. I'll enjoy this.
He said not confrontational.
Dang it. I'll have to do this nicely. All right. It's not going to be as fun.
But it's basically what we're trying to do here is to get an actual accounting of what you spent last year. And then we can basically figure out, okay, how much do we want to allocate for spending this year? So we're being proactive, and we're also learning from just this past shopping cycle, which is probably going to be more shopping next year if we're being honest, right? Like, it's probably going to go up a little bit. So we may have to come up with a good, I always say start with $50 a month, because that's $600 by the end of the year. Well, by now it's going to be a little bit less. But, you got to just do the math. Like, okay, if you guys spent $1,000 last year, then how much in 10 months can you put away? Obviously, that's going to be, $100 a month. Then you could get that $1,200 pretty easily.
I didn't even think about saving at the beginning of the
I
year.
didn't either. Like, never crossed my mind.
We are two smart people here. God.
You'd be surprised that a lot of people don't think about this kind of stuff, but it's like
it's an expense that's going to be there. Why didn't we think
every year it's going to be there? It's nuts. All right.
Honestly, you could by setting a target, you can also kind of like tweak things a little bit to where we spent $500 on whatever type of gift. Maybe we'll split that up, and then we'll do, so you can almost like reverse engineer and learn from the last spending cycle and say, okay, we can do things a little bit better next year. Or
last year, not this past year, but the year before, I wrote down everything and I saw how much that I spent. And so then this year I saved, it was like $800.
That's pretty good.
Last
under 1,000.
Yeah. And then this year I saved this past year I've saved all my Amazon points, because most of the stuff I bought on Amazon. So I saved all of our credit card points for Amazon purchases, and I saved, I think, about half. I mean, it was like $400 worth of points.
Nice.
That I was able to just take out the bulk of it this year. So I don't think we spent as much this year.
Oh, look, that'll be our money date. Count me in.
But you also did spend money to get those points, right? So we'll have to determine how much you're actually spending. Because, I mean, if you think about it, you got $400 worth of gifts, right? For free. So that could be $400 of spending that you have to account for. You know what I mean?
Well, that was the credit card. That's our Capital One.
Yeah.
So that's the stuff we used all year.
Yeah, but he's like explaining, like, all right, so if you paid $1,000 to get that 400 points, that you really saving any money.
I mean, we're spending that money anyway.
True.
That's the only thing. That's how I guess I think.
No, like that's the whole money. Yeah, the money laundering thing works in that situation.
That's the only.
Yeah, that's true. All right, right now.
Yeah. So, but ultimately the idea was to get you guys thinking about, okay, how could we tackle Christmas this year in a more economical way, in a more thoughtful way? You could buy presents throughout the year instead of waiting until the end of the year. You know, like that. You can be more intentional, look for sales. You know, all these things that could really help you guys in the long run too.
Yeah.
And it's just like you can also bite off. You know, instead of waiting until the end of the year, you space it out throughout the year. So like, you know, spending $50 on one thing would not be so bad if you were like, you know, buying 5 or 6 things at $50 a pop. That, you know, that stings a lot more. So by spacing it out, it'll kind of soften the blow a little bit too.
That's a good idea. You kind of started doing that though.
Yeah, I start buying a little earlier, but
yeah. Well, just
not as good as my aunt. She buys stuff like in April and she forgets who she bought it for.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like little tips and tricks and hacks that we can talk about, and some of them are going to work for you guys, and some of them might not. But if you guys are interested, we can definitely do, because we're coming up on another 9 minutes or so. I think I was supposed to take a commercial break in there somewhere, but I think they'll be all right. But yeah, like if you guys are interested, we could do some future sessions, kind of do some follow-ups.
We'll get all those numbers together for you. We'll start working on that stuff, and just let us know, man. We'll pop on.
Yeah.
We'll schedule it for like a month from now or whatever.
So what is your guys' biggest financial goal for this year? Just out of curiosity. Oh, well, the pool.
Knock out that pool. The pool, number one. Once that's done, dude, that's going to be giant weight off the shoulders. That's one world. And we'll just have to deal with the smaller worlds.
Yeah, because I mean, there's little upgrades we need for the house, like new fans and like just upkeep.
It's a 70-year-old house, so this thing is like
the 1975 is when it was built, so it's just.
Oh yeah, my bad. It's 1970s.
So it just needs, you know, a little bit at a time, and it seems like everything's falling apart at the same time.
We just fixed a water leak in the bathroom.
Flood in my bathroom, so that's an expense, like $5,000 that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah,
you know, and that happened right before Christmas.
Of course.
So I saved a little bit at Christmas, but then I had to spend all of that. But thank goodness my friend was the one that did it for. Like he has a company, and
we know a guy.
Yeah, we know a guy, and he let me pay it in 3 different increments. Actually, a check.
And that's like a big thing too. If you can play in like installments that you're not getting like hit on, that is the way to do it, man. If you're just taking small chunks out, that has been a lifesaver for us, not being able to take the hit all at once.
Yeah, that really helped.
So another little bit of homework, I would be curious with you guys, since you're homeowners, I'm curious, how much did you spend on your home last year?
Oh, that's interesting.
It doesn't have to be
like
an exact
upkeep kind of things.
Well, yeah, like in just the homeowner's expenses, you know, because I think this is also a good way to help guide people who maybe want to be homeowners and be like, okay, yes, you have your mortgage payment. That's one thing. But then you just said $5,000 for a water leak.
Yeah.
You know, who has that kind of money? And like a lot of people.
Oh, we didn't. We did not. We did not.
Right.
Well,
so you got to figure out a way to get there.
What I've realized about us is we put our home in like the last priority. Like we have not been up. Like,
we've been terrible homeowners, and that's why stuff is falling apart.
I think that's probably a big reason, honestly. Is like we have not maintained like we should.
Why'd you have to bring that up?
We are being honest.
That's right.
I love this.
You know,
I love accountability in this situation. That's really
it's for us.
It's just because it's money that I'm like, we need something else. You know, this can wait, and then I'm like, I don't.
By the time it explodes, we're like, well, now I can't wait. No, it's $5,000.
You know,
our AC. All we have to do is put a little bit of bleach into a little system thing, and then it cleans it out. And we totally forget to do that, and then the AC shuts down in the summer. Everybody's sweating for 2 weeks, and then that's another more money.
So now it's a reminder in my phone.
Yeah. So take care of it. Take care of the house.
Yeah.
Well, that's, you know, like I said, I wanted to highlight that honestly, just for other people to see, you know, that you know, homeownership is nice and everything, and you do make equity eventually, but that's a slow process, and it's just part of the bigger financial picture. Is that, you know, you're not just spending, you know, $900 on a mortgage payment.
You're also
Yeah.
spending, you're pre-spending all these homeowners' expenses. And one thing that I did want to put a number in your mind is, I think it's like 2 to 3% is what they estimate you should put away for your house for repairs. So
Okay.
like if your house is $200K, then 3% would be 6,000, right? 6,000 a year. So basically the idea is just like with a car maintenance fund, like your car is going to have problems, so you put money away, to prepare for that, just like with the house stuff.
You sound like everybody does that. We don't do that at all. We're like, oh, hopefully it makes that. We change our oil. All right, we're good. It's gonna last forever.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but that's one of the, you could start with
Okay.
that too, even like a car maintenance fund, $50, So basically what we're doing here is we know we're going to be spending this money throughout the year, but by allocating it ahead of time, you're kind of generating a buffer.
Yeah.
Are you saying to like do different savings accounts for each of these, or just kind of know that this much
but
is?
This is what we're like.
yeah. So that's where like things like the Smarty Pig can help. Like you can actually give each account a task. So
Oh, very
like you
cool.
can have a $500 for the year account on Smarty Pig, and you just
Yeah.
put $20 a month or whatever you determine is what you're going to save. So in that sense, like if it's helpful for you, then I would say go ahead and do it. But the only thing that I would be cautious about is overcomplicating your finances too much, which
Yes.
I'm guilty of. But yeah, that's
Simple.
definitely something that I would be just have that discussion, be like, okay, we want to have our money put away separately, but we don't want it to be too crazy complicated, because then it's just like hard to follow, but okay. So we're running a little bit low on time. We got a couple minutes. We have to do an outro, but I wanted to say thank you guys for basically putting yourself out there. And like, I mean, I want to give you guys credit. Like you guys put your stuff on blast. And I know that that's not comfortable, but you guys are going to be helping who knows how many thousands of people.
Man, as a veteran, like any help, I wish I would have like saw some of these videos before I got out, or like even like as I got out, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make all those mistakes. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, once again, thank you, Robby and Becky. We're gonna have you guys on again, hopefully soon. Maybe not this week. I got another guest, but then maybe the week after we can do like
just let us know, man. We got a lot of stuff to go over. So.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you again for your time. This has been Money in the Military on Military Broadcast Radio. Thank you guys for joining and watching after the fact. Thanks again for Becky and Rob.
Thanks, man.
All right, we'll talk to you guys next stream, and that's it for.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it, man. Keep up the good work, dude. This is an awesome thing you're doing, man.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.